So in this video, we're going to dive into a quick recap and do all the trades that we took this week and called out in the signals chat. Now we took over a total of 8 trades, and we only called out 3 of them, unfortunately. Now I thought I called out a little bit more, and if this is your first time on a recap video, we're going to dive in every single trade that we took. What's the reason behind it? What's the context? What was the trade idea? What was the trade plan? And what we could have done a lot better on the next trade. So every single week we do a nice recap, and here are all the trades I called out this week. As you guys see, there's only been 3 of them, but every single trade that we took was profitable, guys. This whole week was a very good week. Second week of December down, and we killed it. Now, you guys saw in the last recap, last week was an $80 loss on the whole week total if you took one single contract. But this week, if you took one single contract, even on only 3 trades that I called out compared to last week where there was 11 trades, this week only 3 trades, and you would have made over 120 on the week. So with that being said, let's dive into the recap. Let's share our screen and let's show you guys why we entered on these trades. So the first trade that I took was AMD on Monday, and I didn't call this one out because last week, guys, we had a horrible week and I didn't want to call out any bad trades for the first start. So this one I decided to trade on my own, and you guys see the contracts right here. I got it for 251, sold it at 289, got in at 1054, and sold it at 1138. So 10:54 a.m. is right here on this candle, around the candle close. But before we even get into the entry and exit, let's show you guys why we entered this trade. This was such a good trade idea, guys. Let's break it down for you guys right here, very simply. AMD on the higher time frame. Mind you have to start from the higher time frame and trade on the lower time frame. So I get my trade ideas and my trade plans on the higher time frame, and then I trade them on the lower 15, 30-ish, 5-minute time frame charts. So for example, AMD on the daily time frame, every time we hit this general area, we tend to bounce. I called out AMD a couple weeks ago or a week ago on this bounce here. I said AMD looks interesting, nice daily hammer, volume's kicking in just a little bit of decent, and here's a screenshot of that here. And we did get a nice bounce. Then weeks later, here we are. On this candle, or this day right here, which each candle represents one single day of price action, this is the candle that breaks down that support. Now the way I grabbed that support or even made it was I grabbed the low this wick here, grabbed the low this wick here, and just extended out a rectangle or a box or a zone, whatever you really want to call it. And that's how we continued on trading this area, because now you guys can see daily time frame gets a breakout, comes to retest even on the daily time frame, guys. Even on the daily time frame, you get a nice breakout, a break and retest strategy here for an entry, and you get more puts down there. So we took puts twice this week off AMD to the downside. Now we could have even done it 3 times on Friday, but let's talk about the first trade, which was Monday. So first trade, we entered AMD because, of course, like we just broke down on the daily time frame on the higher setup, we're losing this general area. And I was already eyeing AMD puts and told the Discord that, guys, look for some AMD puts. I'm trying to take some AMD puts below this general zone. And guess what? Most people would probably think that this trade ended up running without them, that they missed it, that it's already gone. Do not worry though, because the break and retest strategy by far is the best way to enter on a trade setup. I mean, of course, there are many different strategies, but the break and retest strategy is by far the most favorable setup you could find with the best entry, low risk, high reward. And the reason why I say that is because look at this, guys. A nice breakout here. And I even talked about it on that Monday vlog that, okay, whatever, maybe we missed it, but we'll just wait for a retest. We got as close as we can to get a retest. Now, it didn't come exactly to that zone, which would have been a better entry, but it never even came to that zone. So we got the best entry we can get, which is right here. And the reason why I even entered right here is because if I grab the 9 EMA, which I should probably throw it on for you guys so you guys can see. Here it is. I had the 9 and 21 EMA running here. But you guys can see the 9 EMA is getting rejected. Even the 21 EMA were still below. So overall, we're in a bearish setup, still losing that zone on the daily time frame. In every single time frame in general, we're losing that level. So I decided to enter here at 10:54 a.m. You guys can see my contracts. And we exit at 11:38 a.m. on this candle here. And you guys can see the live trade. I did post a live trade on this on my vlog. I did post on my TikTok and Instagram. We entered puts here. Managed to hold as best as we can because, guys, mind you, we entered here on this candle right here. Then we saw a nice 20-ish% here or 15%, pulls back up, and we're up only 5% on here. But this is retesting the 9 EMA, so we had to do our absolute best to try to hold, which is what we've been working on, and we killed it this week, guys, because this week, every single trade that we took in was well over 20%, 30%, 40%. We even saw 50%, but sold it at 40%, and we've been managing to hold a lot longer than usual. So, entered here. Usually, I would have probably exited around here because, you know what, nice gain. It's pulling back a little bit. Let's just save some good. Let's just secure some cash. In this case, I finally waited for another rejection, and we got that rejection. And what I could have done better was actually hold all the way to price target, because my price target was 130, and it hit that to the T. If you go back in time, you can see 130 is a nice support level. But we exit here and 15 minutes later, it hits support, which is price target, which probably would have been over 60, 70% return, maybe even more, considering that I got in here, exited here. So this was a very good trade. Of course, there's some things I could have done better as far as holding a little bit longer, but this was still a very nice trade, guys. So that's trade number one. Then literally that same type of setup, same thing, guys. Look at this. You guys can see this is Monday. This is Tuesday. We ended up trading it again. And I even said on Tuesday that I can almost enter right at open, because if you go on a higher time frame, like the 30-minute time frame and it's pre-market hours, I mentioned that I can almost enter at open. Because look at this. Generally speaking, this is a break and retest strategy as well here. It came to retest in the pre-market, came to reject again in the pre-market. 30 minutes is a little bit of reversal here. I mean, I could have entered at open, but you guys know my trading style is not entering right at open. I like to give the market some time to do whatever it's going to do first before I do any entries. So I waited for the market to do whatever it's going to do. So guess what happened? Big sell-off all the way down to the 130 level again, which was my first price target yesterday or on Monday. And here we are coming to retest this general area. Fat sell-off candle here. And this is where I decide, you know what? Let me eye some AMD puts. Now, the whole market as a whole, and you guys see me talk about this throughout the days of the vlogs, is the fact that I watch the whole market as a whole. I don't just watch one stock. If I plan on trading AMD, I don't just only watch AMD and that's it. I watch SPY, NVIDIA, AMD, QQQ, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Tesla, all of them. The Magnificent Seven is what you have to watch. That's what they call it. So you have to watch all the biggest movers in the S&P 500s, because if NVIDIA starts pulling up here, AMD is going to start pulling up here. So in this case, NVIDIA was losing some levels, losing some support, and AMD was also following along with the whole market as a whole. So I decided, you know what, let me enter some puts here. Again, 9 EMA, if I throw it on, it's retested this general area. And you guys saw in the live trade, I had to hold it through all this noise. I mean, guys, look at this. This is my entry here. I entered out for 180 contract at 7:50 a.m. Sold at 8:34 a.m., which is 44 minutes later, for 228, which is a very good exit. So we enter here. Look at this candle, guys. This candle is a massive amount of buyers that are stepping in. Of course, it didn't go anywhere to our stop loss. It did come above our entry or a little bit at our entry. Then again, another sell-off, another buyer candle. Buyers are trying to step in one more time, and then another sell-off here. So I was very confident after we got this next sell-off that, you know what, we're definitely going to see some good gains, and we ended up printing a nice 30% plus on this trade here. Now, what I could have done better on this one wasn't really much that I could have done better, because even if I would have held another 5-10 minutes, it started to reverse around. So I'm very glad I exited where I did. Whereas in yesterday's trade, if I would have held at least 15 more minutes, it would have hit my price target. In this case, this one did not hit my price target, but we exited at a nice 30% gain. So I was very happy with that one. And that is the second trade on Tuesday. Now I did take 2 trades on Tuesday. Now the same day, I also took puts on NVIDIA, because as the whole market was falling down, I said, you know what, let me enter some NVIDIA. NVIDIA looks pretty good. Now on the 5 minutes, it looks pretty scary, but on the higher time frame, it looks a lot better. Now I took these contracts from 143 all the way to 187. And the reason why I got in this trade is because every time, now I do have a lot of levels posted up on my tab, but the one that you guys need to focus on that I'm trying to show you guys is this one right here. Every time we hit this general area, we tend to bounce. Now I had this level on for a long time and it has a lot of reactions. So I decided to keep it, and you guys can see that we've been playing off of it actually this whole week. So we're going to go over it and break it down, because I even entered on Friday on this same exact area as well. But let's talk about on Tuesday why I entered, what was the setup, and what was the entry. So again, NVIDIA on a higher time frame was breaking this level right here. Even 15 minutes, it broke below here. You got a candle close below. You guys can see at 9:15 a.m. This is a 15-minute candle close below. Was an actual fake out a little bit, because the next 15-minute candle closes back above. But I decided to enter at 9:55 a.m. because the hourly and the 30 minutes was about to close in the next 5 minutes, and it was looking very bearish. Now, in this case, it was a little bit entry a little bit too early, so that's also why I didn't call this one out, because I didn't want anybody to enter in too early with me. Plus, the first trade was already a nice 30% gain. I didn't want anybody to risk losing what they already made. So with that being said, we entered here. Breaks below again, that support. Ends up bouncing one last time. Doesn't go anywhere close above our stop loss or even to our stop loss at all, just at our entry. And then we get a nice breakdown and break below support all the way through to where we exit at was a very nice gain. Another 30% trade here. You guys can see we entered these ones at 143 and sold at 187. So a very good trade off this one. Now, what I could have done better was maybe hold it just a little bit longer. Of course, that's kind of almost every single trade that I take. So even though I see a nice 30% gain, guys, the goal is to collect a nice 40, 50, 60%, or sometimes even hold one last contract to over 100% gain or flip it. That's the whole goal of why we're trying to do this, and the whole reason why we do these recaps is to understand what we could have done better. So on this trade, even though the next candle is a nice bullish engulfing, I would have had to do my absolute best to hold it. And I'm pretty sure if I throw on the 9 EMA, it'd probably be a nice rejection here for some more downside action, which probably would have been over 100% gain, 60, 80-ish% gain, something like that, because that's a nice drop. So that is the second trade I took on Tuesday, and that was the last trade I took for that day. Now I only took one trade on Wednesday, and let's break that one down, because this one was an actual signal that I called out. This one was a very good trade, so it was just my one and done. Now, just to make it a little bit more clear, I'm going to go on a different setup just to show you guys what it's looking like, and then we're going to go into the cluttered chart, which let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So this is a little bit of a cleaner chart, and then this is my actual chart where you guys can see all my trades. So just to show you guys, to give you guys some context, if you didn't watch the vlog, the reason why I entered this trade here is because all I did was grab the chop from Monday, and you guys can see we've been ranging in this general area, and extend that chop all the way out for the rest of the week. And you guys can see we've been reacting perfectly. A reject on Tuesday here ends up pulling very bullish and a nice break above here. So you know what? Market decided to go bullish here, and that's why I decided to enter call. So let's break it down, this call setup. So now we're on the 5-minute time frame. When I was just on earlier was the hourly. So you guys can see on the 5 minutes, we got a nice hold above this area, break, range again, break back above, and then we start to consolidate here and create a nice little bit of a downtrend type pennant or flag. Really, it's a pennant. So I decided to enter on a retest. Now I entered as soon as the 15-minute candle gets a close outside of this range. Now I'm going to go on the 15-minute time frame here soon, but you guys can see this is my entry here at 9:15 or 8:15 a.m. We entered these contracts for $57 and we sold them at $81. So this was over a 30% gain trade on here again. So we entered here, exited here. Now what I could have done better is just trusting the trade plan, holding for some more. It's very bullish. Whole market's going crazy. So definitely leave a runner. I had 4 contracts here. If I would have left one, I could have managed to hold for a lot more than what I collected. Mind you, I bought 3 contracts and I sold 2 of them. And I even said in a live vlog that I'm going to do my absolute best to hold at the support here. And you guys can see my contracts right here. I only sell 2 of them and I tried my best to hold 1 more. And we did manage to sell for more of a better gain on the last contract. But if I was to manage to hold for another 5, 10, 15 minutes, these contracts would have went dummy. Over 50-60% trade on here. Even comes to hit price target and ends up pulling back a little bit for some more gains. So that was a very good trade. We did call that out here. You guys can see the call out that I did do. Now that was the only trade that we took that day, and we decided to wrap it up and continue on about our day. So let's go on to Thursday and Friday's trades. So we're only 4 more trades away, and then we'll end the vlog and we'll end the recap here. Let's go over Thursday's trade, which was on SPY, and also the next trade that day was also on SPY. So we just went over Wednesday's trades, and here's Thursday's. So let me clear up some things and make it look a little bit better. And now what I'm also going to do is go on a higher time frame to show you guys how my mind thinks, because what we are playing this whole week and what we have been trading this whole week is this chop right here, this range. Like I said, I grabbed Monday's range, Monday's chop, extended it all the way till Friday, and that's all I've been playing and trading this whole time. So on Thursday is very choppy, a very difficult day to trade. I didn't catch no trades until towards the end of the day. On Thursday, I called out. I didn't even do a call out on this day because this day was very choppy. And it was pretty expected because, guys, let's just read price action. Choppiness right here in this range, break down to the downside, pull up to reject that range again. And then on Wednesday is where we took calls for the breakthrough back to the upside. Then here we are on Thursday. After a nice big fat pump in the market, a lot of volume, the market tends to consolidate for a little bit before another move. But we did manage to take puts below this general area, and that's how we caught 2 trades, 2 quick in and out scalps, and I'll show you guys that here. So these are my contracts here and what I took, and here are the areas where I entered. Now I entered on this candle because this is a breakdown of this most recent area of price action of support. Gets a nice break above, tries to hold a little bit, and then we break below. So I decided to just, you know what, let me enter for a quick scalp. Let me follow the market momentum. I highly doubt we're going to do what we did here. And do a nice bounce. So long wick to the upside, indicating that sellers are stepping in. I'm just reading price action, guys. The way that I entered, and reason why I took this one is because all I'm doing is just reading price action. We're breaking back below in this general area. It's not looking as strong as over here. The volume is pretty weak. And long wicks to the upside, indicating that sellers stepping in. So you know what? I decided to enter one of these bad boys. And then we sell at the very bottom of this general area, get a nice fat gain on this trade, over 40-ish% on this trade here. And then we enter on a retest. Because it's not only is this the breakout, but the market tends to do a retest before we continue on to the downside. So I enter for a quick entry here, and I sell and exit there. And both of these trades, the first trade was a $73 entry, sold at 110. The second trade was a $37 entry, bought 2 of them and sold them at $47 a piece. So very nice trade on those days, very quick in and out scalps. And that's the only trade that I took on Thursday. And let's wrap it up with Friday. And these are the last trades that I took. I did call out one of these ones and it was on Nvidia. And this one was pretty good as well. So let's talk about the first trade that I called out on Nvidia on Friday. So the reason why I called this trade out and the reason why I even decided to enter this trade is because we've been trading this area since Monday. And we actually took puts here on Monday. Now, all I did was grab this trend line and draw and extend it up to the upside for a nice downtrend potential break. And that's what we got here. Now let me go to the 30-minute time frame. Let me show you guys something. Price is rejecting a nice double top here. It's never getting above my call level. Market's looking pretty weak. Everything's falling down together as a whole. Get a nice hourly candle that closes below this trend. 30 minutes close below that trend. So I go back on the 5 minutes and I'm looking at the time. I'm looking at the chart. I'm seeing what's going on. Guys, look at this. This is read price action. This is very valuable right here. 5 minutes, strong break below, retest here, break below here. And this is where I enter on a nice retest here. So this trade, I took these contracts from $101 entry to $138 a piece. Now, I entered on open up here in this general area, not anywhere below here. I entered way up here. As soon as I see this nice little retest, I'm like, you know what? What's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario, it comes up above our resistance and we just have to sell for a quick L. Or we get the best risk reward ratio, nice reward to the downside. And for a quick scalp, guys, we were in these for less than 2 minutes. So a quick in and out scalp on this trade. You guys can see my contracts here. And then we decided to bounce on this level here. So that was a very good trade call out. As soon as I entered, it was literally instant 12%. It was crazy. Now let's talk about the last trade, which was the one to put me up over 120 on the day, which is a very good day. Microsoft, I'm still actually practically bearish on here. So I'm going to give you guys some sauce a little bit. Microsoft looks pretty bearish. On the daily time frame, we got a nice long wick to upside. Doji type candle that's kind of indecisive. Buyers are stepping in a little bit, but also on the 4-hour time frame, even hourly time frame, we got a nice head and shoulders here. So I'm looking at all that. I'm like, you know what? Let me just enter for a quick momentum move to the downside. Market's already trending down. So look at this head and shoulders here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and market tends to pull down just a little bit. Enough for me to enter here. I entered one contract for 137 and I sold that at 177, guys. It's a very good in and out type of trade. And let me show you guys. So I don't even enter on the 5 minutes. I wasn't even watching that market kind of bounce here, to be honest. But we did enter here. And you guys see my contracts right here. All right, 8:55 a.m. Exit at the very bottom here at 9:32-ish a.m. And you guys can see my contracts here. Nice exit. Very good gain here. Another 30% trade on Microsoft. And that's what we ended the whole week with, guys. Every single trade that we took was a profitable trade. Every single trade that we called out this week recovered last week's losses. Even though we took 11 trades last week, only 3 trades this week would have recovered everything that we took from last week. So not only that, but also it would pay for 2 monthly premium memberships. So keep that in mind, guys. So we do these recaps to try our best to see what we could have done better. And even though we did very good this week, next week, guys, we're still going to do the same thing that we did this week, hold to 30%, 40% gains. But we're going to do our best to leave one single runner and let that run to over 50, 60, 70, 80-ish%. That is our goal for next week. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.